Do you hear the sound of waves? The master has arrived. Hey everyone, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and this is Merfolk Primer Episode 5, The Master of Waves. Before we continue, I just want to bring to everyone's attention how nonsensical the name Master of Waves is. I mean, it's just waves. What about the master of grass, the master of sand, the master of dirt? Do you see how ridiculous this is? Master of waves, master of waves, master of waves. I've said the name so many times, it's completely lost all meaning. As a 4 of in every successful Merfolk finish, this is hands down the most powerful card ever printed for Merfolk. All the other masters, they laughed at him. But who's laughing now? Prior to the printing of Master of Waves, Modern Merfolk was a tier 3 deck. Without Master of Waves, this deck is nothing. So at a colossal 4 mana, this better be a 1-man band. So at a blue and 3 colorless, we get a 2/1 Merfolk Wizard, Protection from red. Elementals you control get +1/+1. When he enters the battlefield, put a 1/0 blue elemental in play equal to your devotion to blue. So why is the Master of Waves the Master? Because when he arrives, his entrance is like none other. You get a 1/0 blue elemental equal to the number of blue mana symbols on the battlefield. So with no devotion except himself, you get 4 power in play for 4 mana. With a second devotion, you get 6 power. With a third devotion, you get 8, then 10. It starts to get ridiculous. For this reason, Spreading Seas is excellent synergy with the Master of Waves. It adds to your devotion. This is particularly useful against control decks, which usually leave your board wiped. A single Master of Waves and a pile of elementals put the control player in immediate danger. Master of Waves is the only card in the deck that can take a completely losing position and either stabilize it or turn it around into a completely winning position. Master of Waves can change the tides in a single turn. A ton of elementals allows you to go wide and get through a bunch of blockers. Master of Waves has protection from red. This makes Modern Merfolk competitive against all the red-based control decks and attrition-based decks. This is because Master of Waves has protection from the most popular red spells, like the following. Against burn, use caution when they suicide their Goblin Guide into your Master of Waves. They are trying to play Skullcrack on you, which says damage cannot be prevented. Protection of a color means they are preventing damage of that color. If you block Goblin Guide with Master of Waves and they cast Skullcrack, your Master of Waves will take damage and die. Therefore, try to block the Goblin Guide with one of the blue elemental tokens. 4 mana can sometimes be a bonus. You can cast Master of Waves into an Eidolon of the Great Revel, and he has protection from Abrupt Decay. I mean, Jund absolutely hates him! Protection from Lightning Bolt, protection from Abrupt Decay. Liliana of the Veil doesn't even do anything, because if you try to use the Edict effect, you just sacrifice a token. Remember, he's a lord for elementals, so if you have 2 Master of Waves in play, or a phantasmal image that copied a Master of Waves, your elementals become 3/2 creatures. Mutavault is all creature types and therefore is also pumped up by the Master of Waves. Master of Waves is poor versus combo decks where not only is he slow, but you also risk losing if you decide to tap out to cast him. This would be the case against, say, Infect or Counters Company. Now, Valakut the Molten Pinnacle might look like a red source, but it's not. It's actually colorless. So if your opponent has Valakut triggers on the stack, it will kill your Master of Waves. Master of Waves has also faced some resistance in the face of Collective Brutality, Liliana the Last Hope, and Fatal Push. So he might not be invincible in all matchups, but he's never useless. left unchecked, he will win the game. And that concludes our primer on Master of Waves. It has been brought to you by the generous support of my patrons supporting me on Patreon. Thank you very much. If there are other primers you'd like to see, let me know in the comments section below. Our next primer will be looking at the Lords and their relationship with Mutavault and Silvergill Adept. This has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master. Master your waves, and I'll see you next time.